Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. If you're like me, and hopefully you're not, hopefully you just use my channel as a way to not make dumb mistakes, you wasted a little bit of energy the first time you hopped into the new side quest because you went down, like, oh, let's just try the hardest path. My summoned symbiote happens to already be max rank from the previous event, and thankfully I didn't have to start him from scratch and regrow him. I think that was a genius move by Kabam, and they deserve credit for not having that be a requirement. But because of that, in the new side quest, I thought, well, I probably can just breeze through this, and I am through 54% of it, but there 48% I'm not through. Couple of paths that clearly are designed to do exactly what Kabam, in fairness, warned us about. Kabam said, hey, summoners, just to let you know, if you try to do these paths before you actually can, maybe it was in updates. Yeah. They literally said, boosts specifically tuned to this week's side quest can be found in the daily login calendar and will also be dropping from foes as you clear out the vault. You'll find some of the harder paths nearly impossible for even the mightiest symbiote without these boosts backing them up. And of course, my fragile but somewhat insecure game ego is like, whatever, nearly impossible. That means maybe it's still possible. Well, Biohazard melts him so fast. So, okay, we gotta be patient. It's week 1. They're forcing us to use these boosts. So, I go to the calendar, and I look at the candy boosts calendar, and I see that I've got 2 days, and all looks well. And I will say this too. Weird compliment. I understand that. But I like the colors of the boost. They're bright. Kind of reminds me of like Starburst in high definition. Or Skittles. So I have 2 check marks. And I thought nothing of this because it's a normal calendar with different colored boosts each day. But, wouldn't you know it, late last night, I heard from some Alliance mates on the Line app because they didn't have 1 check, or 2 checks, excuse me. They just had 1, including my man, Professor X. And you can see what that means, and if I hide my webcam, is that the last day of the calendar, oh, that accidentally flipped out. Last day of the calendar is blacked out. And yes, it's not just him, and yes, he logged in multiple times each day. But the boost calendar is essentially coded for some summoners to not count the first day. Now, this is going to be an easy fix. Like, in terms of significant bugs and problems in the game, this is at the bottom of the list. This is not made to be DEFCON 5 for the sake of views on a YouTube channel. But this is made to say it's not just you if you see this. This has happened to quite a few people. Now, the compensation should simply be, assuming this doesn't happen for more than 1 day, and if it does, we'll have to come back to it and keep an eye on it. But let's just say you miss the last day and that's it. Just give everybody another 1 of those boosts, because you probably won't need to use them all, even, depending on it. But if you do, you're not going to need to use 2 of the same boost at once. So the people who don't get it will have it, and the people who don't need it will have an extra 1 that they don't use. So it's not going to give an unfair advantage to the community, assuming they do the right thing. And Kabam has, in fairness, had a history of doing this when the stakes are pretty low. Now, of course, when the stakes are higher, and there was something that really helped out a small percentage of summoners, sometimes they punished the summoner, and sometimes the summoner went unpunished, and you had what happened this summer, where was it Cavalier players that got to open like so many thousands of mythic crystals because of a coding glitch that gave them like 100 times, or maybe it was even more than that, worth of what you were supposed to get in that first July 4th sale bundle. My brain has all this knowledge of things that happen in the game, and I just want you to know, nobody outside this game cares. And sometimes I worry because, yes, like anyone's brain, we only have so much space and storage up there that like I'm storing my brain with a bunch of useless stuff that's never going to help me. But I'm like erasing things that I probably need for MCOC knowledge. Weird fear, I know, but that's what happens when you make 13,000 videos on YouTube. You tend to realize that your brain chemistry's literally rewired itself. So I don't know how many people this is affecting. I know at least a couple of my lines, and to me that's worth a video because other people might be wondering if it's happening to them. Kabam should be aware of the problem. I think it's a simple, easy fix to just give everybody compensation for the boost that's going to be blocked out at the end of the month. If somebody is affected worse than this, again, then the compensation needs to be different. But hopefully it's just a one-day thing. We can look back on this and think it's more strange than problematic.